Alright, y'all, welcome back to James Teaches You How to Play Songs that even he can barely figure out. Today we're talking about Nathan Fillion is a sexy motherfucker. Um, this song is mostly on the low 3 strings, so I'm going to be showing you on the Brokencaster. I'm tuned to drop B for this, so this is low B, middle F sharp, high B, octave apart. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so this song can pretty much be divided up into 4 sections, and we're going to tackle them section by section. First up is the intro, then the verse section, the pre-chorus, and finally the chorus section. The intro and the verse and the pre-chorus all use the same tapping rhythm, so we're going to touch on that first. What you're going to do is, it's a two-handed tapping technique. You only need your index finger here. What you're doing is you're using your index finger and your middle finger to play an octave, and then your index finger on your picking hand, my right hand, to play additional melody notes. So the way that this pattern works is most of what's happening here is happening on the high B, the higher B string, and your first note in the bar on the downbeat is your index finger hitting your root note of the chord. So you go here, immediately hammer onto the octave, hammer your melody note, pull off to the open B, and just repeat until you hit the end of the bar. Cool. That's pretty easy. So, like I said, we're going to be using that tapping pattern all throughout the intro, verse, and pre-chorus, the first 3 sections of the song. The intro is the only part that doesn't kind of loop, in that you just play the melody, or you just play the section all the way through one time, and it transitions into the verse section. And it just kind of walks up the major scale using that tapping pattern and additional major and minor tenths with the additional that additional melody note. Or rather, ninths and tenths. Yeah. So we're gonna we start at the 4th fret and 5th fret up on the high B string with this high melody, and then in the next bar the high note moves up to the 10th. The next bar the bass follows it up one step up the major scale. The next bar the high note moves up, the next bar the bass moves up, the next bar the high note moves up, next bar the bass note moves up, and we do this pattern kind of 8 times until we hit this chord, which is where the verse starts. So all together, here's what we're doing. We're starting at, like I said, we're starting at the 4th fret and then using our index finger to tap onto the 5th fret. to 7. Move the bass up to 5. To 9. Bass to 7. To 11. Bass to 9. And to 12. That ring out of those 3 notes is the first part of the verse section. So one more time, all the way through the intro section, starting with the bass on 4 and and your index finger tapping on the 5th fret. To 7. Bass to 5. Lead to 9. Bass to 7. Lead to 11. Bass to 9. Oops. And melody to, or lead to 12. Cool. So that's the intro. The first verse, like I showed you, starts with that, and then it moves to at the 7th fret, still with the lead note on the 12th fret, and then to the 5th fret, and we let that one ring out for an obnoxiously long time. One more time. Cool. So that's the first part of the first verse. The verse itself gets broken down into 4 individual sections. All of them are based around that same chord movement, that 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what happens is, as you go through these repetitions, you're playing the same pattern, you're just adding a little bit more on top of it every time. So the first time we play the pattern through, we're just playing those initial 3 notes and letting them ring out, like second time through, we're tapping the same pattern out that we did in the intro. One more time. Cool. So that's the second time through. Third time through, we're actually moving this high melody note so that it references a 10th of whatever root note we're playing here. The voicing changes from major to minor. So when we're playing it here, it's a minor 10th. Here we move up to the 11 for a major 10, and then here up to the 9 for another major 10. So that section goes. So 12, 11, 9. Fourth and final section is basically the exact same as that, where we're moving that top melody note, but over the first two chords we're adding a little of like a descending run over the top of it, and I'll show you how that goes. So the fourth repetition, you would play it like. Cool. So the additional notes that I'm playing there are at the 16th and 14th frets on the high B string here. So a little bit slower. That section goes. So all together, the verse section sounds like this. Fantastic. So that's the verse all the way through. The next section is the pre-chorus section. Again, keeping the same tapping pattern going. For this, we are rooting at the 12th fret, and we are tapping at the 16th fret. And we're gonna play that. We're gonna play 2 bars of that. And then we are going to move the root note, or the root chord, down to the 9 here, and then down to the 7. So all together. 9, 7, back to 12. 5, and then 7, back to 12, 9, 7, 12, and the fun part, just let these ring out. So a little slower, I'll walk you through that. We're starting at the 12, doing this major 10th chord. And then we go down to 9, 7, back up to 12, 5, and then 7. You're going to play that through twice. The second time you play it through, you're going to hang on to those those last two chords, and you're just going to tap out the first 3 notes and let them ring. And then from there it goes into the chorus. I'm going to show you all of the entire tapping section from the beginning of the intro through to the end of the pre-chorus. That way you can see how everything fits together. And the intro starts 1, 2, 3, 4. Banging, right? So that's 2.5 minutes of fucking of tapping that you're never gonna get back in your life. When we do this song, the idea that I had for it was that I was just gonna play the tapping section and do some effects fuckery with it, and maybe get like a cool synthesizer tone or something out of it. At least that's the idea. I was gonna have Ryan do the vocals for those first 3 sections of the song. Well, probably just the verse and the pre-chorus. The intro doesn't really need vocals. And then we would sing the chorus section together. That way, nobody has to worry about doing the tapping section and singing at the same time. It does kind of get a little funky when you're jumping around, especially moving from, I'm sure you saw me having difficulty with it when you're moving from this chord back up to this chord, or from this chord all the way up to here, because your hands kind of have to jump over each other. It's a little finicky. I wrote this song like 2 years ago, and I still haven't 100% mastered like that entire section. I can play it pretty fluidly, but there's still a couple of parts that I trip over. Like I said, I don't want anybody to have to worry about singing and playing that section at the same time, so that was my idea for doing that. Micah, as long as you follow the root notes that I'm playing there, you're not really gonna go wrong. Basically anything within the major scale, within the B major scale, you're not gonna really go wrong with, because it's all built within that scale. Modally, it's more focused at the sixth of that of the major scale. A lot of what we're doing is actually coming from here and then moving around up and down on top of it, as opposed to coming from the low B and then moving up to the notes. If that makes any sense, I can talk more about that with you on our own time. I just want to kind of lay out the framework for what I'm doing here. The next section of the song is the strummed out section, chorus section. We're playing it. It's kind of two different parts. The first one I play twice, and then the second one I play 4 times. And they both kind of have the same rhythm to them. The chords in the second part are a little different. But for the first part, I'm really just playing 2 chords. The first is this minor 10th shape at the 9th fret, so that's 9, 9, 12. And then the second one is a major 10th shape at the 5th fret, so that one is 5, 5, 9. And what I'm playing is and I just play those two chords back and forth 2 times. That's the first part of the chorus. The second part of the chorus is the one that I play 4 times. And that one, it uses the same rhythm, it's just there's different chords. So that one is so what I'm doing there is I'm doing the exact same, I'm opening it the same way with that 9, 9, 12. And then I'm moving to open, open, 4. And then I'm going back to that 5, 5, 9 shape. The second part of that, I start again at the 9, 9, 12, the major or minor 10th shape. And then I go up to an octave of this chord. So instead of playing it open, open, 4, I'm playing it 12, 12, 16. And then I go down to a different chord here. So instead of resolving to the 5, the major 10th shape at the 5, I'm resolving it to the major 10th shape at the 7. So that's 7, 7, 11. Altogether, that sounds like cool, right? So the whole chorus section, beginning to end, is going to sound like this. very last repetition on that last chord, I do that. So I play the last bar. I play the last bar twice with that syncopation thing. That. And then I resolve to the first chord of the main chord of the song. This minor 10th shape at the 9th fret, 9, 9, 12. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole fucking song, front to back, forward and backwards, left to right, upside down, purple and green. If you have any questions about anything that I'm doing there specifically that I didn't talk about in this video, please let me know. You know where I'm at.